Hey, it's Andy Fogarty from theathomewelder.com, and today I'm going to share with you the #1 mistake that almost all newbies make when measuring for wrought iron railings on stone houses. Now, I'm not only going to share this mistake with you, but I'm also going to show you exactly what you need to do to make sure that you don't make this mistake and cost yourself a lot of time, embarrassment, and money. So let's get to it, because I want to show you something that you need to be careful of when you're pulling measurements. And this has to do with any kind of stone or masonry that's not exactly flush all the way through. And so you can see here that on the brick, it actually pokes out just a little bit. And the problem that a lot of people have is that they forget about taking into account this little ½ inch that might be poking out. And this really comes into play when you're measuring on stone houses, where everything is just jagged and there's really no flat surface. You might pull your measurement down here on the bottom and think, you might think you're only going to come out about 1 inch from the wall if you're not mounting to a wall. And you might think, okay, well, I'm going to come out 1 inch and I'll measure straight up and that's what it's going to be. Well, you could measure, 2 feet up. It could be sticking out as much as 2 inches just because of the way the stones are. Now, if this was natural stone, I would really want to be careful for that. And if I was going to measure, if it was natural stone, I wouldn't be attaching directly to it. I would just have a separate post with a mount down here and just try to butt it up as close as I possibly could to the actual stone. So what I would do is I would try to find the piece of stone that's poking out the most. So say I have one that's actually coming out around 2 inches, and I know that's where I want my post to end up. I'll see how far out that's coming from the edge. You just try to get a close enough measurement. It's going to be hard to get an exact measurement because of the way the stones are, but you can eye it, you get a good idea of how close you need to be. I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that I'll mark that down here. So if I have a piece that's coming out 2 inches, I'm going to go ahead and give myself about a ½ inch leeway. So I'm going to measure out 2½ inches, mark that, and realize that that is going to be my starting point. Not the actual wall, but the 2½ inches that I'm coming out. That's where I'm going to start pulling my measurements. So as if, almost like the wall is going to be starting right there. So when I'm pulling my measurements from end to end, I'm going to start at that 2½ mark. Pull all the way down and do the exact same thing on the other side. So if I need to come out, say 2 inches on the other side, I'm going to start at a 2-inch point on that. Now the next thing is just measuring up. You need to be at least 36 inches or 42 inches or 39 inches, whatever it is in your particular circumstance. Measure how high your railing needs to be. So in this case, I know that it's going to be 36 inches, and I just want to make sure that I have nothing up top that's going to be protruding even more. So I can see, like as in this brick, I have, the brick's going to be coming out about a ½ inch more on top. So I want to make sure that if I'm coming up 36 inches and I plan on mounting to the actual column itself, I want to make sure that the top of my railing isn't going to be hitting this. And it looks like I've got about a ½ inch clearance underneath this, so I'm going to be okay. So I can bring my cap rail all the way to the top. Now, there's a couple ways that you can get around that, and one is by not mounting to the column at all, like we talked about with the stone. You can actually bring it out and have a whole post, or you can actually mount to the column and just kind of have a little loop that comes up, and maybe not have your cap rail come all the way as far in. Have it stop around a ½ inch or whatever it is that this distance is that this is poking out. Have it stop that short.